Yep, all set. Okay, so on behalf of the Connecticut Department of Veteran Affairs, I'd like to welcome you to the Connecticut VA Office of Advocacy and Assistance and Veterans Benefits presentation by Ryan McKenna, who is the manager of OA&A. I'm going to go over a few ground rules for the presentation. One, the session will be recorded. We will be muting all microphones at the start of the presentation. If you'd like to ask a question, please type them in the chat area and I will review them and pass them along to the presenter. If you're unable to utilize the chat, please use the raise your hand feature and you can be called on. Both are located on the bar when you scroll over the meeting screen. Please do not share any personal identifiable information as these sessions are non-confidential. We suggest you keep your camera off as this helps to keep bandwidth down and improves connectivity. Thank you and enjoy the presentation.
Good morning. Specifically, we're learning how to do this Teams thing here as an agency and as a new platform for really moving forward. So as Dawn said, my name is Ryan McKenna. I am the manager of the Office of Advocacy and Assistance. Dawn Waldron is my moderator today. She is the Veteran Service Officer in the Newington office, covering the 1st Congressional District. So the reason I wanted to have one of the VSOs on staff or on this call was so if there were any questions, she would be definitely the point person to go to. Also, so just kind of a quick tutorial on the slide itself. You can raise your hand if you have a question. Obviously, there's only a couple of us in here, so it's if you want to ask a question as we're going through, you can do the raise your hand feature here, but there's also a chat feature here that is opens up on the right hand side, and so if you have a specific case related question. So this overview is going to be just that, an overview of advocacy and assistance, what my team and I help provide, and a brief overview of the federal VA. So if you have anything case related, you can put your town in the chat conversation, the chat bar here. Put your town. And then Dawn will tell you your district and phone number of the veteran service officer that can best assist you. That way, because some of those things that get into case specific stuff can get are really sensitive and don't need to be a part of a public briefing. And just so everyone knows, these briefings will be posted online on our website. So that's why we want to keep everything as specifically related to just what benefits are provided. We don't want to put anything out there that may talk about what you are experiencing. So with that being said, our first slide here, what Office of Advocacy and Assistance does. We'll jump into that momentarily. But also wanted to talk about real quick about COVID, coronavirus, and what its impact on our agency. We have not had any significant issues, but it's important to note that we're doing this today in a virtual environment because we wanted to ensure that the veterans that we serve were able to get the resources and benefits they deserve, right? That they've earned, they're eligible for, et cetera. So with COVID, obviously we are limited in our ability to bring everybody on campus as our normal operations. So we've gone to the virtual environment today, right? So you'll have a bunch of briefings today. You can join whichever one you so choose. And then there is a small in-person version tomorrow at 4 locations around the state. And you can register for that still right online at our website, portal.ct.gov/DVA. Don't worry about memorizing that. We'll get to that slide in a little bit. But I just want you guys to know that that if you want to see a couple of providers, some of them will be available tomorrow. Not all, but some. And then if there are any questions, obviously you can always give us a call, go on our website, we're on Facebook, etc. I just wanted to kind of put that out there. Everything that you need for the next 2 days is right on our website. And then the last one is we also have a mobile app, which again we'll hit towards the end. But everything you need for our agency is on our website, phone numbers, addresses, etc. And then there's also a Connecticut Veterans mobile app where you can get any of the like quick links to any kind of services you may need. That's also for family members can download it too if they want to have those services available for their family member. So segueing into what our office specifically provides. We are, I like to say, the one-stop shop for pretty much anything VA question related. We don't necessarily do every aspect of the VA process. Like we don't do like VA home loans. There's an actual office within the federal VA that handles those things. Our focus is primarily the federal VA disability, pension, voc rehab, things in the benefits side like that. Our team can assist you with obtaining military records, and we also have really strong community partnerships with our vet centers, nursing homes, etc. Because what I'm talking about for the pension, our service officers will go into those nursing homes to assist veterans and their eligible dependents for any of those benefits they may be eligible for. So the things that we will do referrals for, education and training. We work with Department of Labor. We work with federal VA voc rehab. We may not have the answer for you, but we know who to point you to get the answer you're seeking. So another one that's come through our office rather frequently is for discharge upgrades. We have a really good partnership with the Connecticut Veterans Legal Center down New Haven way, and they've kind of become the subject matter expert, if you will, in discharge upgrades. So if that is what you're here for, if that's one of the questions that you have, then your POC, your point of contact, is going to be the Connecticut Veterans Legal Center. So how our team is broken down. My team is broken down by the 5 congressional districts. So first district is in Newington. Second district, covering the eastern half of the state, is in Norwich. Third district is out of Milford. Fourth district in Bridgeport, and fifth district is out of Waterbury. So a very common question I get is, I don't know what district I'm in. So all we need to know is what town you're in, and then we can divide assign your case, if you will, to the appropriate service officer. Don't be shocked if you call one office and you maybe you called the wrong one. That's okay. That happens. Our team stands ready to shift your call to the appropriate office so that there's no overlap. Also on this map are the Rocky Hill headquarters. That's where the Connecticut Department of Veteran Affairs is headquartered out of, as well as our cemeteries in Middletown, Darien, and Rocky Hill, which we'll touch on the cemeteries in a little bit. These are your phone numbers, right? So if you want to take a screenshot of this, you can, but also, like I said, everything you need is on the state website. So don't feel bashful if you don't know what district you are. It's all on there. Also, we set up a helpful link within the Office of Advocacy and Assistance page where you can click on it, you can enter your town, and it will show you which district you fall in. At the very bottom of that slide, you see I kind of put some asterisks of no walk-ins at this time due to COVID. Due to, obviously, the current environment, the 5 congressional district offices are not open to the public currently. But our office has continued to support the veteran community. I got to emphasize that again, guys. Our office has continued to support the veteran community from working in a remote stance. So email, phone call, video chat if necessary. Even the Board of Veteran Appeals has been doing a virtual hearings as well. So we are really lockstep with what the federal VA is doing, and we're doing it at a state level. So we've got I'm going to keep hitting it. I'll hit it before we close out again. If you need assistance with whatever is on your mind, call one of the district offices and we will square you away. If we don't, like I said, if it's not something that falls under our jurisdiction or our purview, we will definitely get you the point of contact that you need. For filing a claim, the first thing is to contact the Veteran Service Officer. Okay, to help that claim be successful, to set it up for success within the VA system. The best point of contact is a Veteran Service Officer. They will, once you have that initial contact, you will then gather up, if you haven't gathered up already, is any medical documentation that supports the claim that you want to submit. This is really one of the most important pieces of this briefing, to be totally honest with you, is that medical documentation to submit with the claim. I highlight that, asterisk it, I mean, whatever you got to do. The medical documentation really makes that claim be strong with the federal VA. Once that claim goes in, you'll complete a comp and pen exam with the federal VA. And then I realize it's a couple of acronyms there at the bottom, but those are different systems that the VA has. Most importantly is e-benefits. It's that system is a blessing and a curse, to be totally honest with you. It has a really good snapshot of where your claim is, but there are times where a veteran may watch that almost every day, and it doesn't update every day. So to check it, once a week, maybe every other week, and you can get an update. And sometimes there will be an update in e-benefits that may not have transferred over to the service officer yet. So just know that, because sometimes we'll get a call and be like, I got something in e-benefits, and when the service officer jumps in the VA side, it hasn't crossed over yet. So so give that some time, but that's definitely a good program if you say you want to add a dependent. That's how I did for some of my people, is I would go right through e-benefits, and you can upload your dependent information right there. And lastly is to be patient. There's with COVID, some of the comp and pen exams were put on hold, and not in a negative way. They had to figure out how they were going to operate in the new COVID environment. So a lot of those things, some of those things have picked back up, private providers. So just really just be patient, and the service officer will help you navigate that stuff. VA healthcare. So this is, we have some vets that may not necessarily have a disability that incurred during service. VA healthcare is access to VA care. This is a form that you submit to the federal VA, and you can see that the priority groups there are they're right in the federal VA book, which is also they've also put that online too. So if you're curious what priority group you may fall under, those are right on the federal VA's website. For the OEF vets, you have 5 years of VA healthcare from the date of the end of your last active duty day. So that's another important little nugget to have. The Connecticut Veterans Benefits. So these are state level veterans benefits. So we've kind of talked about the federal VA side and putting a claim in for disability or a non-service connected pension. We're not going to get too in the weeds on eligibility criteria for those things. Those are things to really talk about with a service officer directly. But these are some of the veterans benefits that are at the state level. The biggest, obviously, the very common one is the property tax exemption. We, as an agency, we do not oversee that tax exemption. Every municipality, all 169 towns in the state of Connecticut, operate that. So if you are a vet and you're eligible for that within your town, you bring your DD 214 to your tax assessor in your town hall, and they will square you away. We do not have any jurisdiction over that. The last one on this bottom of this page is the veteran-owned micro business. That's another program that's run through OA&A. It gives you a 15% price preference when making a bid on state contracts. So that's a pretty good incentive there. I'm not going to read through all these. The two big ones on this page or I should say three. The Connecticut Veterans Registry. Every single vet that contacts us for either a flag on license, Connecticut Wartime Service Medal, goes into our Connecticut Veterans Registry. Right now we have about 40,000 vets in there, maybe a touch more than that, which is rather small compared to the overall veteran population of Connecticut, which is about 185 to 190,000, depending on what you're using. But that number, how we've gotten to that 40,000, has exponentially grown over the past few years due to awareness of the programs that we have at the VA. So the last two, the two in there that other than the Veterans Registry, the Connecticut Wartime Service Medal, that is a thank you from the state of Connecticut for your service during a period of war. Customarily, we have services where we present these medals throughout the state in partnership with either somebody from the state legislature or the governor's office, lieutenant governor's office. But unfortunately, again, due to COVID, we've had to put a temporary halt on those until we get the go-ahead from governor's office and CDC to open those back up. But anywhere we would do ceremonies like that, say, I'll just pick one, Enfield. We had over, I believe, 175 people get a wartime service medal in one night. So that's a pretty good achievement there. And then the last one, the flag on the Connecticut Veterans Driver's License. That is literally, it's a flag that says veteran on your driver's license. All of those applications are on our website. We have a person in the Rocky Hill office that processes those. It's really quick. So if you end up having, like if you're going to get your license the next day, we prefer to have the 30-day lead time. But if by chance something happens and you're like, oh, I just found out about the flag on license program, we're in the office a couple of days a week and can most of the time oblige that request. It may be a day or two off, but we can square you away. And that's a picture of the wartime service medal as it stands. Another program that we have is the Municipal Veterans Representative Program. This is it was a piece of legislation that was passed a few years ago, and every town in the state of Connecticut is to have a veterans representative or a veteran service contact person to answer any questions that may come up within their town. That doesn't mean that person's a veteran service officer. They're not accredited in that arena, but they go through a training with us once annually, and we have that training every year to kind of go over the do's and don'ts, some of the new legislation that may have passed, some things that may have impacted the veteran community. So that way, if a person, say, I'll just pick a town, say Sprague, right? They know that they can go contact their person in the town hall or to just try to get, hey, I just had a quick question. Hey, when's the next veterans event for Sprague? and they will they usually have that information there. These are some of the duties and responsibilities. You see, they're rather similar to what the Veteran Service Officer team provide, but these are just different things that have come up in some of the one-on-ones with the veterans and the vet reps. So what we do is we will coordinate with our vet rep team to get them the questions and answers that they may need. Annually, we always do a Connecticut Veterans Hall of Fame induction. That is usually that first, second week in December. The application is currently up on the website. So if you have a veteran that you feel is worthy to be inducted in the Connecticut Veterans Hall of Fame, that application is there. You can fill it out and submit it. I don't have a number off the top of my head of how many get submitted annually, but it's usually about 9 to 10 are selected per year to be inducted. So it's that. Within OANA, I'm kind of dual-hatted as a manager there. So I oversee advocacy and assistance, but then I'm also the director of the cemetery memorial services. So anything that comes through related to our cemetery and questions that people may have come through my team's office in Rocky Hill. I put the phone number on there. That's right now our team is in Rocky Hill. Our cemetery is in Middletown. Just so people sometimes will go to the Middletown cemetery to try and ask some of these questions, and our grounds crew can help. But if you have any questions related to scheduling services, am I eligible for burial? Those things are handled right at our admin office, and the phone number is right there. The 3 cemeteries, Darien, that was the state's first cemetery, and it closed in 1980 because it was at capacity. And then in 1985, the Middletown State Veterans Cemetery opened. That is our current cemetery that we're using at the moment. We just had almost a little more than about $8.5 million, a little more than that of federal grants to make improvements to our cemetery. Also had an expansion section recently put in. So when you drive up to it now, the team did a really great job. When you drive past it, it looks really like a mini Arlington at this point. Very, very, very proud of how that's starting to shape up and how it's going to look for years to come. So, and then the Rocky Hill Cemetery is primarily reserved for veterans who may pass away in our residential program or our healthcare center on the Rocky Hill campus. So that doesn't preclude anybody from going into Rocky Hill, but anybody there, if they choose to go there, that's a commissioner level request. So Middletown is the current operating cemetery. Normally there's a Heroes for Hire job fair in Rensselaer Field. That's in the stadium there. But again, COVID, this got pushed. So know that will that it hasn't been forgotten about, and it will come back around. So I'm going to do a quick 3-minute overview of how we're different from the federal VA, and then open it up to any kind of questions people may have. And then we'll go from there. So the federal VA, how we differ from them. We're a state agency. They're a federal agency, and they're broken down into 3 big categories. They have the Veterans Health Administration, which is your hospital-related stuff. The Veterans Benefits Administration, which is obviously the benefit side of the house, so disability claims, et cetera. And then the National Cemetery Administration, which is that's who oversees the Middletown Cemetery that I was just referencing. The 3 hospitals, you have the VA in West Haven, so I just got to slow down a little bit. The VHA in West Haven, that is where most of the hospital care is taken care of. That in primary care, there's some long-term care, Any kind of medical appointments you may have will usually route you through the West Haven VA. There is some small, there are some small things that can be taken in Newington as well. All right, I will hold fast. It sounds like my slides are not and they're not going as fast as I am, so I apologize on that. I'll stand by. Dawn, let me know when it shows VHA in West Haven, please. I forgot that sometimes the slides don't go as fast as what's shown on my screen itself here, so I apologize for that. Shows that it's still spinning. Give it a second. While that's loading up, are there any questions from the floor? Like I said, if somebody has a question, please, don't need to bring up anything of personal nature. But if you have a question, just operationally, etc., you can unmute your microphone, ask your question, and then we'll try to address it while the screen is loading back up. Any questions from the floor? Hearing none. Dawn, how we looking? We still showing that's still spinning? All right. Well, I mean, I'll click through. We don't necessarily have to cover the total federal VA side of the house. I really just wanted to kind of give an overview of their shop. They actually have their own briefings throughout the day, anyways. So the last thing to really hit here is that all of our information, how to contact us, how to apply for wartime service medal, how to apply for flag on license, micro business, current events of what's happening at our agency. All of those things are all on our website, and they're updated rather frequently. Big events coming up I would imagine there is still going to be a Veterans Hall of Fame. As for how it's going to look and attendance, that is still yet to be seen, because we're kind of we have to follow the executive orders from the governor's office. So that may end up being a Facebook Live event, kind of like how the opening ceremonies were for this. But there still will be a Hall of Fame induction. Additionally, we just had our first meeting the other day for what's called the Wreaths Across America for our Veterans Cemetery. So every year, right around that third weekend in December, there's a bunch of logistics that go on behind the scenes that will put a wreath at each of the eligible headstones in the cemetery. I say eligible is the incorrect word. There are certain religious affiliations that prefer not to have a wreath, right? Because that's not it's not what they celebrate. So, but we usually place around 10,000 wreaths or so in our cemetery, and that covers Rocky Hill and Darien as well. So that's a pretty good event. That's going to be December 19th. Again, we're going to be have to limit the amount of people that we have at that event, just due to COVID and wanting to adhere to the governor's regulations, the executive orders, excuse me. So Facebook, we're on Facebook. We don't have as much of a presence on Twitter or Instagram, but we do have accounts there. The the Facebook is our biggest driver, as well as our website. At that point, I've got about 10:35 or so. I've rattled information at you guys for about 30 minutes. I want to open it up for any questions, comments, concerns that you may have that maybe I can help address for you. And then we'll go from there. Any questions from the floor? If there are none, then I say we can probably close up our briefing portion for today. Keep in mind that the other sessions will start at about 11 o'clock. If there is another session at this same time period that you want to jump into, you can still do that. To try and maybe get a contact number or something out of that, feel free to do so. I'm available via email. And office phone too. I'm in the office 2 days a week and then working remotely for the other 2 to 3, depending on how it works out. But we are continuing to help the veteran community do and submit those claims as needed. So if you have any questions, comments, concerns, give us a call and we will help square you away. That's all I have for now. We will close out. And I hope to see you all again in events throughout the state in the future. So again, thanks for joining us today, and I will we'll end it here and sign off. So take care and thank you.